uh, how do you maintain the most important thing in your home? And got a couple of members in the community that are, I don't know if they're needing help with this. Prayers can definitely go a long way when it comes to things like this, but we're not talking about something physical in your home like an appliance or an air conditioner, something like that. We're talking about your kind of your mental health, even your physical well-being. I'm kind of a professional when it comes to maintaining your emotional levels of just different things, being raised in the trades, not really letting your feelings decide what you're going to do. I've been through a lot in the last couple of years, and I was going to share some things that definitely helped me maintain my sanity and maybe even keep me alive. So I don't know what you guys are going for. What's up, Shrush? I'm doing pretty good, dude. I'll tell you a little bit of my woes. I'm not going to get in too much detail. I don't want to sound like a crazy person. But long story short, man, we had to throw away everything we've ever owned and restart our life. And what we haven't thrown away, uh, we tried to keep, and we ultimately still had to throw it away. Most of you guys know I'm talking about mold and mycotoxin exposure. Basically, when I requested my own testing, the doctor kind of looked at me strange and said, "Sure, whatever. You're paying $700. I'll take your money." And then whenever I came back with the results and he had the results, he wanted me to sit down so he could explain how bad it was. And I was like, dude, I already knew how bad it was. And his response was, I've never seen anybody alive with your numbers. He's like, I don't know how you walked in my office with the positivity you had. So just being in construction and being in situations that generally suck all the time, except for a couple of months out of the year. And that includes maybe the tasks that you're having to do. It might not even be the weather. Usually it is the weather that sucks, but it could just be what you're having to do that day. Or you're having to mentally endure, figure out, struggle through, whatever it is, man. You can make it, and you just got to focus on the right thing. So the number one rule for me would be don't try to make any moves on anything that you can't personally change yourself. So if it's something you're inevitably just waiting for to happen, there's no sense in wondering and worrying about when it's going to happen, bro. Those things are going to happen whether you like it or not, however it's going to be. If you're stressing out because you've got a test coming up or whatever, yeah, prep as best as you can, but you can't change that from happening, right? You got dates that are coming. Those dates are going to get here eventually. So whatever you are worried about needing to face, just face it whenever you need to. Don't spend time stressing about tomorrow's problems would be number one, because that problem's going to come tomorrow. And the Bible says that God gives us all the strength we need one day at a time. So that's going to be the best probably advice that I can give you guys. Two, whenever I was recovering from surgery and I started feeling a little bit better, I quickly started feeling really bad. And we realized that it was the air quality. We didn't know it was mold yet. And I started buying air purifiers. And I saw those air purifiers get down to about 13% on a Shark from Walmart. So they got a little blue, maybe it's green, blue, amber, and then red for like the level of air quality. And we saw the thing go to red after a couple of days, and that's when I knew it was bad. I was like, okay, we're getting the kids out of the house. We had a 30 by 20 garage attached. Put all the kids in the car, put myself in the car, and my next piece of advice would be: do not sleep in your car and think that you can put your feet up on the dashboard in the front seat with your kid in the back seat because you can't recline the seat. Don't fold yourself in the shape of a C and try to sleep in the car, because that don't ever try that. It looks good on TV, not physically doable for a grown man in a car. Um, but yeah, basically we had to just emergency style get the heck out of the house and figure out what was going on. So we lived in a garage in tents um, for 2 or 3 weeks while we figured out what was going on. and the live streams continued. So if you guys are members of this channel, done that dozens of times, yeah. So it's different when you're by yourself. If you got someone in the back seat, man, you can't fold yourself in the shape of a C. It just don't work. I ended up just putting my head on the steering wheel and getting like no sleep. So yeah, the live streams continued. Yesterday, I regained my sight and learned that after death, it'll be the same as before birth. All right. What's up, Lex? I've seen myself get shocked. I've had out of body experiences. I can tell you that death is comforting. In those situations, it's not me. You're not worried about yourself. You're in third person, and you're kind of looking at the perspective of that's another person down there, and you're wondering if they're okay, but you're not worried about yourself. I've been in a lot of unique situations with things like that. So, death isn't really something I've ever really feared, and for me, it's been a comforting experience. Just throwing that out there. I was young and on the road a lot, and back then I couldn't afford hotels or even motels. Yeah, I've been pretty blessed in that manner where I haven't had to worry about things like that. How we doing? What's up, Caleb? We're doing pretty good, man. The house is loud. Kids are playing with the dogs, but she's not on the iPad, so we'll let her be loud in the house and do what she's gonna do. I just got 2 new Vitos, and I got to make some videos on that anyway. So, also, we're fixing to go eat, so we're not going to be on for a long time. But I think there's a couple people in the community that probably needed a little bit of positivity instead of just some tool talk. So here we are. Yeah. So don't worry about tomorrow's problems, because that's a problem for tomorrow, right? Not to say don't be proactive, but there's no sense in stressing out about something that you literally can't do anything about until that day is there. 2 would be kind of counteracts with the first one, but always have multiple options, right? Set yourself up for the worst case scenario. Don't dwell on it. Just set yourself up for, if this happens, what can I do? And if that fails, what can I do? And if that fails, what can I do? We literally were renting an apartment while we were paying a mortgage on a house after I put $50K on a credit card, after I'd already borrowed $10K on a personal loan. Maybe it's $20K on a personal loan. Dumped all that, realized that we couldn't keep the house, and then we had to go rent an apartment while we were paying the mortgage on that house, trying to figure out what we're even going to do with our life. So at that point, we were already looking at this house that we were about to buy while we were trying to sell the other house, and all the cards just kind of fell right at the right moment. But I had a backup plan on, if I wasn't going to sell the house, what offers could I entice? Because my solar panels weren't on the table to sell along with the house. I was supposed to be able to keep my solar panels. It was written in a separate document that I was going to keep my solar, keep my rain soft, and keep multiple things. And that just didn't happen. They they counted at the last minute. So, definitely have a backup plan on what's going on. Rodney's texting me. Let me see what Rodney's wanting here. Nice. I don't know if Rodney's here or not. I didn't see him in here. He could be watching. Not sure. What's up, Rodney? Shout out to Rodney. Usually I'm doing it myself instead of personally. So how do you keep calm when you were working? Dumb person. Let's see here. With a dumb person. Or when I'm working as a dumb person? Let me see here. End up just doing it yourself. Yeah. Yeah, I've got all messages on. I haven't missed anything. Okay. You know, just like your integrity is a muscle, when you flex it, patience is also a muscle. And seeking to understand before trying to be understood works really well. In my situation, you can either be that jerk inspector, you can have a lot of patience for people. And in my situation, you're representing a city, you're representing, what taxpayers are paying for. Is that beard AI? No. I just trimmed it. It's looking pretty good, though. What's up, CNF? That's great. Mold in house was horrible. I went through that also. Yeah, man. That's one of those things that stays with you forever. Question: did you pass the ICC electrical inspector's test on the first try? Yes. Yes, I passed them both on my first try. Didn't pass my journeyman's on the first try. But this is my advice for your ICC exams or any test. If you haven't studied or you're not a good study, basically, just go take the test. Figure out what's on the test. Figure out on what you're going to kind of need to brush up on, and then just go take it again. Don't stress on it. Sometimes, like engineers exams and stuff, you can't do that. You got to study your butt off, and you only get so many tries, and they're 6 months apart, and there's a lot to it. But for small tests like a little ICC or something like that, just go take it, figure out what's on it, and take it again. All my tests have only ever taken 45 minutes. I think they give you 4 hours, but I know where everything is. I'm photographic. I retain information really well, and if I don't know it, next, finish the test, go back, look through all the questions again, and then just hit next. We had another explosion, second time less than a week. This time a facility that makes drones. Interesting. Oh, that's okay, Juan. Yeah, man. What's up, Rodney? Just give you a shout out, buddy. Who's Rodney? I didn't answer your second text because yeah, we're here. I didn't answer any of your texts, actually. I read your texts. Oh, right on, Juan. Yeah, well, we'll definitely be praying for you, Sarush, over there, for safety and all that stuff. Oh, you sent me a short video. Nice, nice. I've got that burner phone active again. Now you know where it is, actually. It's charging. Hey, what's up?
Filter in a bag. Where do you want me to go?
Just throw them away.
Even well, yeah, we can't return it because we just used it. Okay.
Unless, I guess just throw it away. I don't know.
Okay. That room's so much better after moving the aloe vera plant.
Yeah, it's a plant.
Yeah,
There's-
no, the playroom.
Yeah. Okay. So, update, guys. Here, you tell them. Here, you tell them. Here.
What am I telling?
Tell them. Here. You don't need a bra.
You're just saying that.
We get more views if you don't have a bra.
Crazy.
Just come here like this and push them against me so nobody can see.
Against my British man.
Yeah.
What am I saying?
Oh, what was wrong? What was wrong with our air?
Plants attacked it.
Plants attacked it. Okay, so let's wrap our head around this. You got mycotoxins in the air. You got an air filter, just like a fan, that would capture the mycotoxins or the mold or the spores, right? And what could happen is that the spores get attached to the filter, and then you throw the filter away. But if you don't, then you're storing mycotoxins on your filter. So then, therefore, you're transferring them from room to room. Okay? Our plants are the filter. So they suck up the air,
That a different plant gave it.
And now they're trash. Okay, like that's the level of craziness that I have to deal with every day. So you ask me, me, especially you, because I go crazy.
Yeah, thank you for acknowledging that.
Whatever you want to throw away is trash. It's all dead to me. I don't care.
I hear that. That is a filter that you've been keeping and just switched, and not the filter, the unit. You had been keeping it, so I didn't know if you wanted to keep it.
Oh, one says plants do absorb mold. Now I feel less crazy. Everyone says get on the stream more.
Me?
Yep.
Well, thank you. But
it's crazy.
and it emits through the windows. Did you tell them that?
It goes through our windows? Yeah. Well, we already know that. Yeah, it goes through.
Stuff outside of our house and in the playroom that was spicy.
Yeah.
And then we had stuff in the kitchen, and our playroom was spicy because of what was in the kitchen.
Yeah, we're not trying to go full crazy on this stream tonight.
Well,
just a little bit.
Already there, past there.
Do you want to throw it away, or what do you do? I don't even care if the shade gets struck by lightning at this point.
I'm not dealing with that tonight.
No, we're not doing that. That's just crazy.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Okay.
I was going to put the plants in the front yard.
She's starting to get symptoms too now. Her stomach's starting to hurt, and she's starting to get her throat hurting, and
I get sores on my mouth, all the stuff.
all kinds of stuff.
Very foggy, very hard to concentrate.
Yep, and sleepy. Yep.
Extra sleepy last couple
Extra sleepy. The plant did its job. Right. So do we buy another plant and then kill that one?
No, it didn't. It didn't do its job.
It started unaliving us. It started unaliving us.
Unaliving us. Sorry. My bad.
So what? We go get another plant.
No.
Hey, Rodney got baptized on Sunday. That's awesome.
No, we don't need more plants. We still have a plant. You're so funny. We still have a plant in the living room. That's so far okay. But the aloe vera and our poinsettias that we've had for over a year that are green, not red. And then, what was the other? Oh, yeah, the Easter plant. That could have been the other thing. We got an Easter plant from some friends who had that stuff in their house, too. We didn't know.
I did.
Well,
I don't want anything from anybody. It's all trash. Whatever you want to throw away, I don't care.
Everything's in the front yard, plant-wise, right now.
Just throw it away.
I'll
rebuy it, and if it does it again, I'll just rebuy it again. That's what we do.
The pillows and everything are in a bag outside.
Pillows?
Trash them, huh?
Throw it away.
Yep.
It's all trash. Okay, just throw it away.
I'm gonna do that really quick. Let me know when you want me to put in the bread.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can start putting it in now. Let me know when it's ready, and I'll get off.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So now you got come on, Tony. You timed him out. You don't have to time him out for that long, man. It's just a question. I've said worse stuff. He's just joking. That's great. Okay, so yeah, that's what we're dealing with right now. Okay. We literally I picked up my Vito bag today. It was at the front door. There was a plant outside by the front door. And I had to go take a nap for like 2 hours. I've got no tolerance for this stuff. It was a freaking plant that burned my throat and made me sick all over again and instantly congested, and it's just a bad deal, man. I can't escape this stuff. I've been hiding in this room. That's why we've been doing live streams, playing Minecraft with Keely, for about a week now, because I can't breathe in my own house because we brought some plants from her mom's house. It's actually insane. So yeah, but you guys wouldn't know. you know, because what else are you gonna do? So we got rule number one. Don't worry about tomorrow's problems. We got rule number two. Have a bunch of different options that you can do. Texas dude with plants you're supposed to breathe. Yeah. Have multiple options on what you can do. Number three would be, you know, just count your blessings, man. You got to count your blessings and look at what you got, where you've been, and where you're going. You know, it could always be worse. That's kind of my motto. I kept saying that it could always be worse, but then things kept getting worse, and we had to change that motto for a little bit. But no, you look at how bad it can be, and it can get pretty bad. Swap them out. Yeah, that's a good idea. Just buy Home Depot plants. I don't know where we got those from. They probably wouldn't return a poinsettia from Christmas. We had that poinsettia for a year and a half now. It was from last Christmas. Usually we buy them every Black Friday. Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. I've been a Christian for a long time. I just redirected my life to Christ and been to church over a year, so symbolically leaving the Mormon church. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you'll be glad to be where you're at now. Welcome. Yeah, there's if anyone's going through something, man, I'm really easy to talk to. I'm like a vault, and I've also been through a lot of different situations. Whenever all this happened, I was really only thinking about myself because that's what my mind went to, was just survival. So just like I told Angela, throw everything away. That was my kind of first thought before we moved here, was just everything is trash. I don't care. And it actually kills me. So whenever she wanted to bring stuff over here, you can imagine the rift that it caused between us, and different things like that. You know, mold makes you have a different personality even, and I was a very different person even a year ago. There's lives on there. I don't know if they are viewable by non-members or if they're even public at all, but I've got live streams where my face is a completely different shape just because of the air that I was breathing. There's so many, you know, different ways to look at your situation. Just take mine for example. We've spent more than $220,000 now in cash rebuying all this stuff, but we blew through that money just moving here, trying to rebuy all the things that we had. I didn't even buy half of the tools that I used to have. I didn't even buy an eighth of the tools that I used to have. You know, so I would say if you're, you know, you're going through something, you know, seek the Lord first. You know, try to understand before being understood in all the different situations that you're in, and then try to pass on whatever you get grace-wise to the next person, or however you can. You know, just keep the positivity going, because dude, that's all you got sometimes is just you know, a little bit of hope. I think you've lost more money in the last few years than I've made in a few decades. Yeah, it just depends, man. It just depends on where you live, what you're doing. You know, I don't make a lot of money, especially working for the city. It's all on government record. You know, it's not even $70K. yet our mortgage is $3,300. You know, my wife definitely helps with the other side of that, but we don't make enough to do anything extra, you know. And I've still got a lot of credit card debt from just the last house and all the different things, you know. Who would have thought that a mattress that was less than, I don't even know, because you got to remember we were renovating that room. Really, we were remediating that room. We wiped everything out of it, all the floors, all the ceilings, all the walls, all the insulation. We painted every stud. We mold armored every stud. We put up all new insulation, all new framing, all new sheetrock, all new paint, all new floor, everything. Then we bought a new bed. And then everything that we did was for nothing, right? So, and then the best part about it was that we took the air purifier from the contaminated side of the house, brought it to the new side of the house that was not contaminated. We just bought a new heat exchanger and a new evaporator coil for the AC, and already replaced the ductwork 3 times, right? And then we took that purification machine to the good side of the house and barely woke up. That's morally degrading, to say the least, man. That's a bad deal. At least you're paying your salary with house property tax and children's schooling. Yeah, I think my property tax is like $5,000 a year. It's really not too bad. That might sound like a lot for some of you guys. I feel like you're turning into the brother Better Call Saul with this air quality thing. I know, man. I know, Joe. I saw that comment last time. It's getting pretty bad. It gets good and then it gets bad. It just depends. What's going on? Here, let's look at this. Organ still hurt from earlier.
I was gonna strip really quick and run.
You're gonna strip really quick and run? What have you been doing?
Cleaning up the backyard.
Oh, you're throwing away all the contaminated stuff. Is it good out here or not?
I think it's a lot better than it was.
Okay, so we got the TVOC. It's not ready yet. We have the HCHO.
This was over 1,000.
And okay, so we're
As soon as you
700.
turned it on.
Look, we're 700 by this door. Look what happens when we get next to this. The crack of the door, 659. Let's go over here.
It's half of what it was.
Half of what it was here. Open
a
that
day
room.
ago. No, Saturday. Whenever I was in. Isn't it better?
Oh, the air is better in here, but it's also pretty bad.
Well, yeah, it's still stinky. There was poo in here.
Oh, nice. That's a nice thing to see on stream.
Well,
That's okay.
dogs like to do things.
Dogs do like to do things. It is better here.
Yeah, it was over 1,000 and beeping.
Yeah, I remember it constantly beeping.
And the humidity
Yeah, it's pretty humid in here
was
too.
pretty humid, yeah.
Yeah, the CO2 was real high.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the air is breathable in here now.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it's from those plants. It's the only thing I did differently.
All you did was pull the plants out?
Well, the filter that was in here I bagged, but it was still in here until like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But the plants have been out.
Did you already throw away the filter?
Huh?
Did you already throw away the filter?
Yeah.
It might be good.
I don't think so. Because before I got rid of the plants,
Yeah.
I went into that room and it was like at least 20 times better than it was this morning whenever I bagged it.
Yeah. We're 100 less CO2 in this room.
I'm gonna go strip
Why does it say humid in there? It's humid in there because that's a
outside room.
that's like an outside kind of like sunroom. And we shut the door because we couldn't breathe in our own freaking house. So this house has been a godsend too, right? Because Mom said always find the silver lining around things and people. Yeah.
Be careful. I don't think it's on me, but I'm still worried that it's on me.
I'm worried that it's on you too.
Shall I show this off?
You gonna do a strip show?
Not in here.
Not in here, darn.
I'm trying to get close to put on.
Yeah, so that room is an exterior patio, and then they built a room around it. So it doesn't really have AC. They added one little duct in there, but it's not like enough to really keep up. And that room's been shut from the return system. So, yes, we bought leather. So we bought a couch we couldn't even come close to affording, but after going through 2 couches in a row, we decided to bite the bullet and just get more expensive leather couches. Okay, we got the TVOCs now, so let's see here. This thing takes a minute to activate. So we got the 0.014. Pretty steady. When I don't move the air, this is what it sits at on the bed, and the HCHO is very low in this room. And this is the bedroom that I've been hiding in pretty much, right? And with the door shut, the CO2 is going to be a little bit high. But that's all of our thresholds right there on the bottom. So I'm going to move this out here now because we got the TVOCs, the counter. And then that ppm is also what you want to look at. The ppm 10 and the ppm 2.5 are the amount of particles. So you can see just walking next to this room right here, you see them go up like that. And the TVOCs are already going up. So you can see in this room, it's just way worse. Holy crap, dude, that is actually a lot. Wow. What's the limit on ppms? What am I breathing right now? Oh, good. 100 plus. Perfect. 2.5, 75 plus. That's actually insane. I gotta get out of this room.
By your own self? Yeah. Okay.
That, wow. That's pretty crazy. What's up, Jonathan? Being completely honest, I can't breathe in this thing. Can't be all these houses. I'm being completely honest. I can't breathe in here thing can't be all these houses. Why is it so humid in there?
She has a word to tell you.
What can you say now?
Bread.
You said bread?
Yeah.
Good job. High five.
She was like, I taught myself a word, Mom! And she ran in and just said it.
Hey, I walked in that room because it takes a minute for this thing to kind of heat up.
Yeah.
The ppms, they were 3 and 5 in here.
Uh-huh.
They went to 150 in the other room.
What does that mean?
Well, those are the particles that you can get actually trapped in your lungs.
Wow.
I said it too.
So spray some more of the fogger thing?
Mm,
Let
something.
everything's out of it?
Yeah, maybe.
Could
I don't
you
know.
do that later, maybe?
I will.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. When I was 60, she told and she was 80. I told her to count backward and not count forward, and we'll meet at 70. Yep, absolutely, Charlton. I'm being completely honest. This I can't breathe in here thing can be all these houses. Yeah. You can have bad air kind of anywhere you go. Do you have an air cleaner, electric, or HVAC? No, we don't have an air cleaner at this house. But that, so the HVAC system's here. And then that room is down this hallway. And then it's an exterior room that's added on. And it's got an HVAC vent just going through there. So,
One quick question, Matt.
what's that?
What did I got you?
What'd you get me?
Kale salad.
Ooh, you got some kale salad.
Do you want the Olive Garden dressing or do you want the poppy seed that this comes with?
Yeah, probably the Olive Garden one. Are you running the fan on or automatic? It's on automatic. I was looking at salt therapy, man. We have a place here local. I was not in a good position to do salt therapy the last time we talked about it because actually, hang on. Starting to not be able to give me congestion already just walking in that room. Okay, so this is what happened. Have you done any salt therapy? Hang on, let me check the chat. Yeah, just put burner phone in the number. Okay, this is the deal. The last time we were talking about salt therapy, what made me sick was the Wi-Fi routers. This is going to sound really crazy. The Wi-Fi routers were from the old house. So we had a couple of Euros, right? And they were from the old house. So I knew I needed to get new Euros, but I didn't know how many I needed or what I needed. So we started moving Wi-Fi's around to figure out how many we needed and what the strength was and all that stuff. And that's what kind of ruined the air. And that's what gave me, yeah, Juan. Anyone's got any electrical questions, call that number. Did George just edit himself? Yeah, so that's what made me sick, right? And then that next morning, kind of didn't feel great. Had a lot of congestion and stuff. And then I was kind of struggling for a little bit. We ended up pretty much getting pneumonia because of that experience. So the stuff put so much fluid in my head and all that stuff like instantly. I've got no tolerance for it at all. What's up, Big Josh? I appreciate that. Big thanks to Tools of Big Josh there. It still sounds crazy, man, to say. That I've got no tolerance. I've got zero for this stuff. It starts destroying me instantly. I can be great. Like today, I was great. I came home, picked the Vito up off the porch, and my throat started burning. And I was like, what the heck? So I opened the door, and there's a freaking potted plant sitting out there. It just doesn't make any sense. Juan down here in the chat is saying that plants do absorb mold and stuff. So that makes me feel less crazy, but doesn't solve the problem of like the units were contaminated with mycotoxins. Yeah. What did Jonathan say? I thought you were going to tell me the 5G, but the units had mold spores. Yeah. It's just crazy, man. The things that I got to deal with, and then what are you supposed to do with it? You know? No, I can't clean my house with Clorox because I can't breathe. Like I'm so chemically sensitive to all that stuff. If my wife puts half of a cap of Pine Sol in a full bucket of water, I have to leave the house. I don't know. I don't know how I live with it. That's why we're doing a whole thing on positivity and mental health and overcoming difficulties in your life. Can you wear a mask? Wearing a mask does help, but it's not the mask you're thinking. It's got to be a full-on freaking respirator. Where I live in Washington, oh yeah, it's everywhere with rough time with your eyes. It affects people differently too. Clorox is not a good idea for mold. They changed that. I was corrected by my mycologist a while back. I probably need a mycologist. What's a mycologist? Is that a mycotoxin doctor? I need to find one. I've got one dude that does chemical spills, and he's a chemical doctor. But oh yeah, dude, I'm delicate in everything. I've got no. Do you have an air quality monitor with the app? No, I've got this. I've got this in here, so you can see the TVOC is very low sitting here on my bed. And these are new sheets. I'll show you what we're dealing with here. This is a shirt. I got it around Christmas. If I put this over here, we might get more VOCs from the shirt. Let's see. We might not. But these are new sheets because I got to replace my sheets like every 6 months or I can't breathe, right? And usually new things like this will put off VOCs. Your eyes stick to your eyelids at night still? That sounds like a problem. Sparkies get plenty of vitamin D. Yeah. What's up, Jamie? Can you do some kind of deep clean and leave the house for a long weekend? No services, eradicate the mold. Brian B. I'll show you something. I haven't showed anybody. I'm going to show you this. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm curious too. So we're taking this with me. Go with cotton sheets. Yes, exactly. Cotton is your friend. Okay. Here's a glass dish now. Now this dish is on the side of my house. Now why did I keep this glass dish? Is the last thing my grandmother ever gave me, okay? This dish has mycotoxins in it. I have pressure washed it. I have left it in the sun. I've done everything to this. The ppm 10s outside shouldn't be 15 or 14 or anything. They should be like nothing, right? So we can just leave this here for a second. My wife used to sneak this dish in the kitchen because she didn't believe me. She thought I was crazy, and I was hoping I was crazy. But she used to sneak this dish in the kitchen, and I guess to see if it would bother me or not, to try to rule out all the craziness. And yeah, dude, I've tried washing that. I've tried Cloroxing it. I've tried acetoning it. I've tried scrubbing it with a stiff brushless broom. I've left it in the sun for 1.5 years now. I still can't breathe. If that dish comes in the house, it bothers me. You can't clean the stuff that I've got. So, some of the stuff you can, most of it you can't. It just depends. It just depends on what mycotoxin you got. Got to ventilate your house properly? Yeah. We wouldn't have any of these pollens if we'd stop bringing contaminated stuff back to the house. That would be, you know. Right, we don't know it's contaminated. That's the thing. That's the takeaway there. My mother-in-law might be trying to get rid of me, yeah. Cold in your eyes, had that when he was a kid. Yeah, I haven't experienced that. Mold scares the hell out of me. Yeah, dude, I've got no tolerance for it either. So sometimes I go to a house that's like, you know, we'll go to a house that caught fire. The firemen will have sprayed water all over everything. And then they get a permit so that they can build it back to new. Well, they'll call us to go look at the house to see what inspections are going to be needed. Whether they need an underground inspection or whether they need, and what parts are affected. So planning knows where the areas are. Dude, I'll walk in that house and sometimes I'll be like running into the walls on the way out. Like I'll just be like super dizzy. My throat will be burning. I've decided I'm just not going to go in those houses anymore and just put all inspections and they can figure it out. I'll try to see where the area is. But the last time I tried to do a really good job, man, I was walking all around one house and it just destroyed me. No issues with outdoor air now. I thought about an air exchanger, but it'd need to go through a HEPA. There's so much mold in your area. Man, the last neighborhood I was in, there's a lot of mold in that area. I'm glad to be out of there. Can you put it in the kiln pottery shops? Yes. Yes, George. So, yes, I can. 500 degrees of fire for 30 minutes can destroy the mycotoxins that I've got. So we can look at that. Live by a short code. Let go and let God. You shouldn't worry about anything you don't have control over. Yeah, exactly. What's up, Ezra? I actually need to go make sure my wife doesn't burn the bread. What Brandon's size is probably 32. No, it's a 40. What is this? This is a TCL. So it's a TCL. And should be a model number on it. 43S451. Might be a 43 inch. Get them at Walmart. I think it's a 43. Jump in a pizza oven? Yeah, exactly. Hey, have you put the bread in?
Yeah.
Is it done?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Didn't want to burn it. Yeah, dude, those TVs are legit. I've got one of those just about everywhere. I like the TCLs. They're cheap and they work. I got one up here. I've got one up here for my, they work really well, actually. I might need to, see here. The only TCL we don't have in the house is, what is that, an LG? Yeah, that's an LG. But all the other rooms have TCLs. So that was a 32. Are AFCI outlets legit? Breakers only? That is a complicated question. I'm going to explain it to you. Basically, an AFCI outlet will protect whatever's plugged into it from arcs, but the code does not recognize them to protect the branch circuit. So an AFCI outlet cannot be used like a breaker to protect the circuit. Now, we've got some kind of exceptions to that. So if we look here, we've got arc fault circuit interrupter protection. Now this is the means of protection. So you got a listed combination AFCI installed to provide protection of the entire branch circuit. Okay. We've got a listed branch feeder type AFCI installed at the origin of the branch circuit in combination with the listed outlet. You got supplemental arc protection. There's a bunch of rules here, and then if it's number 12, you can't be, what is it, 50 feet? Let me see, the maximum length of the branch circuit. It's going to be 50 feet for 14 and 70 feet for number 12. So when we look at this, the requirements, I almost need the whiteboard to explain it. But basically, the best way to explain it is you cannot use a device to protect, to satisfy arc fault requirements unless you run MC, it's got to be armored cable, to the first outlet. And then you can load the rest of your plugs. Almost nobody does that. The deal with arc fault breakers is that they've been tested with fuses and not other breakers. Or I'm sorry, arc fault devices. So when we think of a device like a GFCI or something, an arc fault AFCI device has not been tested with a Square D breaker. And Square D is not going to give Leviton their breaker to test with. So they've never been tested with in conjunction of other breakers. So they're not recognized as protecting the whole branch circuit. So the short answer is you can't and don't buy some of those AFCI devices and think that you're meeting the requirements of, you know, what the inspector is asking you to do. They're not going to work the same way. Pretty much the only way to achieve AFCI is with an actual AFCI breaker. That's going to be the short answer. But there is ways that you can use those devices, but it's got to be very specific. And all of that, all the requirements are here in 210.12A A1 all the way through 6. So if you took listed non-metallic conduit tubing, MC cable is encased not less than 2 inches of concrete. There's a lot of requirements for this. In a metal raceway, what you can do is the metal enclosures are installed for the portion of the branch circuit between the branch circuit and the first outlet, and it shall be permitted to install listed listed outlet branch circuit type AFCI for the first outlet to provide protection to the remaining portion of the branch circuit. So you got to follow very specific rules.
I don't want to play anything until you get ready.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay. Commercial AFCI is not required yet, no. For hotels and stuff, yes. But that's considered a sleeping room. It's different. But for like offices and stuff, no. Hey Robert, do you remember the giant screen where we colored the paper and put it into a machine and then we went across the room in animation at the aquarium? Yes. Yeah, what's up, Rodney? That was pretty cool. Yeah, we were drawing our own fish. We were drawing our own fish. That was fun. That was a fun trip, man. I enjoyed that whole trip in Branson. Solar inspection Friday. I hope I pass. I have 1 battery. I cannot brace it to the wall. I may hide it until after the inspection. Dang. Man, I've got a lot of good solar information. I need to share. I don't want to share too much, but AFCI in offices will constantly trip too many computers, PSUs. Probably. What do you do? Build your house, pass your inspection, then replace all your AFCI breakers to normal circuit breakers? You could do that, but insurance ain't going to cover you, and you'd be in violation. So you can do whatever you want in your own house. Once we pass the inspection, man, we're not coming back. But, man, that's risky. That's risky. What did he say? That answers my question. Yep, all breakers. Absolutely. Where's Souls? I was only planning on for being on here for about 36 minutes, but then Angela came in here and started talking crazy with invisible mold spores. I was just giving you guys examples of what I've been through. I wasn't trying to get into all the lore of my complications. I was just going to let you know things could be worse. I wasn't trying to make this a freaking feel bad for me story, man. I've been through hell. Like literally, I've been through a nightmare. And risky. Yeah. Yeah, man. How's the insurance? Ready?
You coming?
I'm coming.
Okay.
All right, we'll probably play Minecraft later or something with Keely. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we gotta get out of here. I told Souls I was just gonna be talking for like 30 minutes and then get off of here. Yeah, Angela came in here and disrupted the chat and made me forget what the plan was. When I moved to Branson almost 30 years ago, if you thought you could build it, you could. No real rules. Yeah, that's where a lot of cities are. That one job that I went to that has that long format video, it has 100,000 views. It's like, I don't know, it's like 40-minute long video, one of mine, where I did that inspection. There's no inspections required in that city or town. And those electrical contractors knew that I was coming. Everybody thinks they're just not ready for the inspection. You got there too early, blah, 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 blah. No, dude, that doesn't even scratch the surface of what I see every day. That house was pretty standard for what I see every day. Find you a video on salt therapy. I was looking back to the salt therapy, George. I was looking at the salt therapy. burns your sinuses and makes you feel like you're sick for a little bit. I wasn't in a position to do that. I've got a place I can go, and they've got a room for the kids, and there's like a table set up, and you just walk in the salt room, and I got a place I can go. I can do the salt therapy. I know where I can go, George. That is helpful, though. We looked that up, so thank you for that. I have an air purifier for each room, but they get contaminated too quickly. Send me pictures of the new chicken coop. Nice, nice. Okay, guys, we got to get off of here. Wasn't planning on being on here this long. It's less expensive to build your own house? Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll see you guys later. We're out of here.